Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live Scribbles with Jonathan. You can check out my website. Jeez, we stumbled at the beginning. You can check out my website and my work at jonathanrector.com. And by all means, head on over to patreon.com/jonathanrector. There's all kinds of goodies that I added. I believe it was last week I talked about it. And I wanted to, again, like I usually do, say thank you. But I wanted to say thank you as well to all the new people. I've had like a surplus of people heading over to Patreon and saying thanks and that you support me with some cash money dollars. I really do appreciate that. And there's a couple other people that are interested in the Google Hangouts that I offer. I believe it's at max capacity right now. So unfortunately, some of you guys will have to wait till next month for that. But I do plan on opening up some more slots once. This is the greasy part about Patreon. At least I feel it like this anyway. Whenever I do something like this, but uh, in order to open up more time, more money needs to come in. So the more money I get in, the more slots I can open. Again, I feel very greasy saying that. It's a reality, but like I know if I'm on the other side, if I wanted to talk to like an artist that I followed or something like that, it's a bum out when you start hearing about all that kind of stuff. But anyway, thank you guys for following me there, and by all means, head on over there. There's some commissions, there's some all kinds of stuff over there you guys might like, you guys might get a kick out of. What's that, Lars? Oh, no problem, bud. Yeah, take your time. No problem. So today, what I thought I would do is I'm going to briefly talk about what I'm working on and what we're going to do today. Hopefully, it's not all writing. It should be very simple, and we're going to get into doing some thumbnailing. The reason why I had a whole Turtles theme in the beginning is, if you guys remember, I believe it was maybe even almost 2 years ago. Damn. I was going to work on a Ninja Turtle pitch, but things have changed a little bit, and I'm going to be working on that now, as well as Castle Dracula. Castle Dracula, it's not on the back burner or anything like that. I did just finish the plots for book one, and I want to wrap the first book up before I even consider working on any other ones. But it is more than one book. But anyway, the plots are all done for that, and usually what I find the best, and I've heard writers, people that have been doing this way longer than I have, what they usually say is once you get like a certain stage done, in my case plots, you give it a few days, come back to it and look at it with some fresh eyes, don't show anybody, come back to it with some fresh eyes, and then get really what's the word I want? Discipline, and see what needs to be cut and what needs to be added in order to make it better. And then you can go in and write the first what's that called? It'd be like the first draft of the entire script. And then you do that again, and then blah, blah, blah. So I want to make more comic pages, like you guys have heard me say over and over again. So I figure I can, to quote Trailer Park Boys, to do two birds stoned at once, I'm going to work on two projects, but they're both very intensive, meaning that this here is a Ninja Turtle pitch that I'm going to try to send to the editors at IDW. And if I'm very fortunate, maybe I'll be able to get some work doing Ninja Turtles. It would be a dream of mine to be able to get anything published that's Ninja Turtles. That would be, I'll save that story for another time, how important that would be to me. But it is one of my goals, and I figure, that Marvel, DC, the big cats all over the place, I'm going to start sprinkling in just some pitches to send to editors, as well as, and this is the reason why, and I don't want to talk too much. Some of you I did notice were saying that there's too much talking, not enough drawing, but that's my fault for putting up the streams. The streams I find are a little bit more organic as opposed to just drawing. But if I'm able to contact an editor or get in contact email bro fists with an editor, from what I understand, the best you could get is for them to say, hey, cool, keep sending me stuff. And if that's the case, these, like this turtle pitch, the Marvel pitch, all these stuffs that I'll be doing, I would like to send them content every 2 weeks. Here's a batch of new pages, and I need to continually make pages. So that's where Castle Dracula is really going to help, because it's a personal project, as well as I'm able to share that with editors and stuff, right? So hopefully you guys will like it. I don't want to share too much with that because, like I say, I find that the more I share, the less I do, because I start to follow up with things a little bit more, and the pressure starts to build for nothing, as opposed to, especially for Castle Dracula, just work on it because I want to do it. not because I want updates or I want people to see it and stuff like that. That's down the road. Just make it because I love it and it's relaxing and it's something I can do when I come home from work, okay? So, Noah's saying, I'm going to get into what we're going to do today in a second. I just want to make sure that I answer you guys' questions. And if you're new to the show, by all means, please, this is for you guys. This hour is meant for you guys. So if you had any comments, questions, need help with stuff, please ask in the chat. If I get around to it, I will be able to do that. Please ask it in all capitals. It's easier for me to see when I'm rambling. So Noah's asking, John, do you think most comic artists even notice or care if you email them pages to look at? Okay, so I'll speak to this personally. I wouldn't blindly send pages to people. I would ask permission to do so first. In saying that, I have received emails from time to time. I'm not a very famous or popular guy. I do have a little following, very tiny following of people, including you guys that are here. And I do receive email, but unfortunately, I can't answer it all the time. So even if you do send them stuff, don't get all butthurt if you never hear back from them. Or if it's been a month and they finally reply with, nice. Just nice, or looks good, keep it up, that kind of stuff. Just be aware of that. I find that in this industry especially, it's more of a timing thing. If people know about you, it's like if I needed an artist for a project, I'm kind of scrambling around. If nobody that I already know is working, then I need to find new talent. It's sort of like that's when you start looking through, like, okay, who's in my email, and you might scroll around, or maybe I have like a file that I've saved somewhere on my computer saying like this guy would be good for this, and I can quickly go through that. So if I need, like, I don't know, a Superman crew, I can go, okay, well, all the artists that I would like to work with, they're working. Click. Okay, so let's look on our spreadsheet here. Oh, Superman, this guy might be good. You know what I'm saying? That sort of thing. So to answer your question, do you think most comic artists even notice or care if you email them pages to look at? It depends on the artist, and honestly, it depends on time. Most of us, we're trying to make a living at this stuff, right? So, writing an email is writing, and a lot of artists don't like to write too much. So by all means, just ask and then go from there. All right, so what I'm going to show you here is I'm going to bring up how I write scripts. And this method I posted last night because I found this writing method. You guys have heard me talk about note cards, writing with note cards. I've tried a bunch. I've bought screenplay writing books because a lot of comic book writers say that screenplays are very much like comics, which they are in a lot of ways. But sometimes just doing the work is hard. Just getting started is difficult, right? So the last couple days I've been using this method, and I've been gaining massive mileage writing for Castle Dracula. So I wanted to share it with you guys with what we're going to do today, which is, again, the turtle pitch. So what I wanted to do is I looked quickly online to see if there were any Ninja Turtle scripts that I could just take and draw like 3 to 5 pages of that. But I couldn't find any in the time to start the stream. So I figured, you know what? If I can't find it, I'll write it. I'm not writing a full 22 pages here. I'm only sending something that if the editors are interested in seeing at all, then here's 5 pages. In 5 pages, I should be able to in 3 pages, really, I should be able to pique their interest to go like, if this person's if they like my stuff, or if they want to continue emailing me. That's all I'm looking for. Okay, so I'm going to show you step by step how I went through this. But first, this is actually a powerful thing for me anyway, and I love this, the table of contents. This is Google Drive, docs.google.com. I believe you can get it for free. The reason I like it on here is it's on the cloud, so I can use this at any computer. A lunch break, I can do it at work, home, laptop, mobile, all kinds of stuff. You can always get in there. I used to use Microsoft Word, and they have a navigation feature that's the exact same thing as this. I'm going to show you why I like this here, okay? And it's probably self-explanatory as you go there. So this is how I started. Just write it. How many pages am I doing? 5. You might not know, so maybe put 3, whatever. I know that I'm going to do 5, and that's all it. So the first thing you do is you write your tagline, or what is the story about. It can be pretty grand. In this case, it's a pitch. It's all based on art, so I know exactly that it's that. I'm not really giving story elements. If I can tell emotion through stuff, that's what I'll do. So what I wrote was, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles find themselves victorious over the Foot Clan, only to have Splinter at the mercy of Shredder. So that's the pitch. That's in 5 pages, I need to tell this story. So the next step you do is you break that down, that sentence, into 3 more sentences. The beginning, the middle, and the end. Okay, so the very first sentence is turtles are ambushed by the Foot Clan. The second sentence, the Ninja Turtles, being the fighting force they are, single-handedly laying out the beats to the Foot Clan. And then the third one, as the turtles celebrate, someone calls off screen, it's Shredder, and he has Splinter hostage. So you guys can hopefully, you can kind of see what's going on here. Like, all you're doing is adding sentences to each previous sentence, and what that will do is it starts to build into a story. And you can always go back and adjust sentences and things. And I'm going to go into the next part in a second here. But before I do that, I just want to show you, if you guys do have the table of contents, it's right here in add-ons at the top. I had to do some looking around for this. And you just go get add-ons and table of contents is there. And you can just have it there. And what you'll do is you just highlight something. And you go up to the top here, and it's the heading is what you're looking for. And if you look onto the right here, it might be a little hard to see on your screen, but imagine the heading like you can see here, like number 1, and then 1.01, 1.02, and then here's 1.0.3. Like it starts to build on itself. So if you look over here, you can start to see everything starts pushing over to the side. And that's what you want. So it's like everything fits inside of it. And as you can see, what we're doing is we're going to be working on the last 2 pages together. They're very simple. But I can just click on any of these things and it'll automatically take me to that part in the document, which is very handy. Very handy to be doing this sort of thing. And that's why I enjoy doing this, especially for longer projects. Okay, so I have 3 things here, the beginning, middle, and end. And I know I need 5 pages. So what I'm going to do is add 2 more sentences either before or in between these things. And each of those sentences will end up being a page. Okay, so let's break it down here. Okay, so now the next sentences we added are turtles doing what they normally do in their free time. Something breaks Splinter's meditation. Okay, before that was turtles ambushed by Foot. So what I'm doing is now I'm adding a sentence before the ambush. Okay, so you can see the turtles doing what they normally do. Something breaks Splinter's meditation. Next sentence, turtles are ambushed by the Foot Clan. Next sentence, Leonardo directs the turtles in battle. Leo's my fave. I gotta kind of push some stuff his way. Next sentence, turtles celebrate as they are victorious. Something breaks their celebration off screen. And then the last sentence is it's either going to be a splash page or 2-panel page max of Shredder having Splinter hostage. Now the reason why I'm not sure if I want to have a splash page there or not is it might feel too pin-up-y as a portfolio piece. I'd like to tell as much story as possible, so it most likely will be 2 panels there. All right, so what I've done is, again, just adding these things in here, and as you can see, like each page will now sum that up. And that's how easy this can be. You can do this for, and I recommend you do this, guys, if it's for a pitch, maybe even a mini comic. This is what I would have showed you guys. Something very similar to this is just this sentence method for me. It feels organic and it grows from itself. And this is why you walk away and come back. You'll ask new questions, okay, of yourself. So now that I have that, all I'll do is you can see me down here. I'll go page 1. And what I'll do is I'll only look at this. That has to be page 1. Knowing where page 2 is going for like cliffhangers and sort of things like that at the bottom or the last panel of a page. So again, I know this is getting monotonous and boring to some of you guys. We will wrap this up soon. But I think there is some interest out there for people interested in this because we don't really talk too much about scripts on this channel. So the first page here is turtles doing what they normally do in their free time. Something breaks Splinter's meditation. So what it is I started to write each one, like panel 1, a shot of New York. Okay, I want to give a shot of where we are. Panel 2, zoom into the sewers. Okay, so now we're going down. We're going to the turtles. Panel 3, shadows dancing on the walls of the sewers. The lights from inside their hideout causes this. What you can see is this is just very... This is a script written by an artist for the same artist. I know where I'm going with this. I don't need to keep giving instruction to another artist. If I did, I would totally go in here and add more, okay? Now, this panel here all of a sudden did 2 things to me that kind of changed. It added a storytelling element, and hopefully you guys will dig this. What it did was this reminded me of the original Ninja Turtle movie where you can see the shadows on the sewers, and then the turtles show up. But what I thought would be cool is, well, what if, as we're going from New York to the sewers to shadows dancing, what if all of a sudden this is the Foot Clan that's going to be breaking in the next page? What if this is us, like we are the Foot Clan coming into the story? So I changed it up from what I was going to do here was maybe a money shot here, like right here, like the turtles are seen doing what they would normally do, Splinter's meditating. That's just it. But what I did is I added shot through peephole of the door. I think that'll add a really cool dynamic to the page where it's sort of like that fisheye looking through a peephole or something, and that way it's like a little voyeurism, so you know that it's not a comfortable thing. This is the storytelling part of it, right? Panel 5 is Splinter's meditation is broken. I should probably add an ad. Broken. Now the next page is Turtles are ambushed by the Foot Clan, so we'll go down to page 2. Now I know in this sort of thing it's like more action, so what I'd like to do is not have as many panels. Panel 1, door breaks down and a handful of foot soldiers break in. Panel 2, Splinter and Leonardo look stunned. I might change this not to be Leonardo and somebody else, we'll see. Panel 3, foot soldiers jump in for attack. Panel 4, Raphael intercepts 2 midair, muscle style. So now we get into the action. Now we get to see the turtles doing what they're doing. The next page is Leonardo directs the turtles in battle. So we'll go down to page 3. And again, I'm trying to keep it open. You can see like I've gone from 5 panels to 4 panels to 3 panels. I'm opening it up so we can get some bigger action. There's a lot of things happening here. There's a lot of foot soldiers and there's a lot of turtles, right? So I need to make sure there's enough room for them to... What I want to show is I can draw a lot of things happening, but I want to, and this will be the test for me, is to be clear about it. So when you see it, it's not confusing, okay? Page 3, panel 1, Leo points to the foot soldiers while Donnie and Mikey get in battle positions, probably taking their weapons out and stuff. Panel 2, Leo, Don, and Mike yelling as they run into battle. Panel 3, turtles in their glory smashing the foot like they deserve. Splinter can be seen. So this is basically the shot where you'll see the turtles fighting foot soldiers, right? But this is one thing that I started noticing here that was a problem, was I wasn't establishing... I thought it'd be cool. You'll see here. Let me read it. Splinter can be seen in the background battling a single foot soldier. That way he's still included in the shot. He didn't just disappear when all this happened. Have the battle sort of move in a circle so Splinter's closer to the door now. And the shadow of someone looms outside the sewer. So the idea here is the next page we're going to get into is just focus on the turtles. We're not going to see Shred or Splinter anymore. And that shadow is Shredder. So I'm hoping that if an editor ends up looking at this, it's those little things that carry into a future page. Just like writing or watching a movie, you see something happen later on. There's that one adage that goes around, like if you see a gun within the first 10 minutes of the movie, sometime in that movie, probably near the end, you have to use that gun. Okay? And so that's what I said here, that note. Here, I'm just going to actually highlight that and put it in red so I know to look at it. Is because I need to have, you're going to see what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out where everybody is in the room because I need Splinter to be closer to the door than anybody else, so this works out. Okay? I just want to make sure I'm answering you guys' questions here. Millennium Man is saying, Jar, when I used the link to this writing style from a Facebook post, it said the file was not found. For whatever reason, I was trying to click that link, and I'll include it in the show notes too for anybody that's watching on YouTube. But sometimes the link would work, sometimes it wouldn't. So just try. I don't know. It's got to be their server, wherever the website's hosted, okay? Sorry about that. But basically, I just explained what it is that it'll tell you. What they would do after this is you would take this and then you'd add even more sentences to describe this as if it's written for somebody else and start putting in dialogue. That's about it. I'm not putting dialogue in here because we're not really going to need it. So what I'm going to do with you guys is we're going to write the last 2 pages together, and then hopefully we're going to get into some very primal thumbnails to get this project moving along. The script is always the hardest part for me because I don't like working on scripts or on projects without scripts. It's very difficult for me to just start drawing comics without this, and if I don't have this, I'm painting myself in a hole. I don't like open world stuff. I like a little bit of a sandbox, a little bit of a playground that I can play in with some rules. All right, so let's do this. All right, so we're gonna start with panel 1. You're gonna see there's no beauty in any kind of writing that I'm doing here. This is just organic sort of stuff. So we're on page 4. So we're gonna go up to the top here. All right, we're gonna look at what our 4th page is right here. Turtles celebrate as they're victorious. Something breaks their celebration off screen. Similar to what happened to Splinter there. Okay, so let's go back down to page 4. All right, so I just want to see how we ended here. There's a shadow looms outside the sewer. Okay, so they're going to celebrate, but I want a little bit more action in here, right? So panel 1, maybe we can show the turtles being brothers, like some teamwork sort of thing, right? So what would be some teamwork here? I don't want to think of anything too creative, just something that you think the turtles would do, so I don't care if it's been done before. It could be Donatello springboarding off of somebody's shell to drop kick somebody. Sounds good. So let's do that. I'm Raph's a fun guy. Um, Justin, I'll tell you that in a second here, but Raphael, I like him as like the Wolverine Hulk. He's kind of like a mix of the two. I don't. He's the guy that doesn't really need the teamwork, but he needs the brotherhood inside. It's more of a passion thing for him. It's not necessarily the physical part, right? Whereas, in my opinion, the opposite could be said for like Donatello, where he needs everybody else around him working like a cog, but he can function by himself. Okay, anyway, so panel one, let's have Don springboards off of Mikey. No, you know what? We're gonna do. I'm trying to think if it might be funny to have him springboarding off of Raph. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, springboards off Raph, who is sweep kicking a foot soldier. So this would be a pretty fun panel to draw. It's got to be very clear. This is another hard thing to try to do as well. Is this stacked action, right? You have one character doing a sweep kick while somebody else is springboarding off. Like there's multiple things happening here. It's very to me when I do comics, this is the sort of stuff that's very tough, very hard to like. How do you make this flow right? Okay, so again, I can always go back and change it if it's too difficult, but I think it'll be a good little test. So Don springboards off of Raph, who is sweep kicking a soldier, to drop kick another foot soldier in the chest. All right, so we're gonna have that, and again, they're gonna celebrate, but I want to have again this sort of like that teamwork going on there. We'll do something cool with Leo. Leo is what I wish he stabbed people. To be honest with you, what would Leo do? Just trying to think of what might be cool in my head here. I'm just sort of choreographing it out loud here with you guys. So I see a sweep kick, springboard, boom, kicks into that guy. And what would Leo be doing? Leo does a lot of kicks and elbows and stuff, so he doesn't ever really have to use his swords. Maybe he's okay. Yeah. So Leo slashes 1 foot soldiers weapons away while we'll see how weird this looks, kneeing another in the face. So some pretty close combat stuff. And what we can do, actually, this will lead into panel 3. Since that one guy, his weapons are taken away, Mikey can come in. I think it'd be kind of cool to see, like, what's it called? Nunchucks wrapped around a guy's throat and he's like choking him out. That's some mature turtle stuff. I know, most of the stuff's not really shown. And I'm trying to use the comic book that's out there right now as inspiration because theoretically that's a job I'm going for, right? So I don't want to go way off base where it just doesn't make sense. It's got to fit in that universe. You don't normally see this sort of. The only person I've really seen stabbing dudes, Leo did slash that turtle. He did stab him, but it was more of an accident. And to me, it looks like they always save it for like Shredder or bad guys just messing dudes up. And it's always like that really cool. If you guys have seen that old drawing, I forget who drew it. Was it Frank Miller with Bullseye stabbing Elektra, where it comes out her back, but the stretch of the fabric. Very cool shot. Everybody uses it. So Mikey's got to finish this dude off. So Mikey. I'll just do this. There's no reason to worry about it now. Mikey finishes off the disarmed foot soldier by Leo. And this sort of thing, when we get to it, you're gonna hopefully you guys can see how I stage this, how I'll storyboard this out. Mikey finishes off. In panel 4, we're gonna get Raph, who's pretty upset now. But what would he do? Raph would. Trying to think, like, I could just see him like tackling a dude or something. What would the Hulk do here? But he's got size and stuff. Would he counter somebody and just mess him up? Because we're going to do about 5 panels here, Raf. What's he going to do here? He's going to headbutt somebody. Nah, headbutt seems kind of... You know what? Screw it. It's not really kung fu, but we'll try it. For now, anyway. We can always change this, right? Raf suplexes 1 foot soldier into another. A lot of motion going on this page, so this is going to be a very tough page. Panel 5. So Leo, Mike, and Don surround Raf, who is getting up. All smiling, sweating. Piles of foot around them. So I guess we're going to... Some of this might change once we get there, because I'm already seeing how much is going on here. Panel 6. Turtles shocked at something off screen. All right, cool. So this page is done. So just to answer, sorry, the dry throat. Just to answer Justin's question, I'm going to show what we're going to do here. This stuff over here, Justin, all it is it's a table of contents on Google Docs, and what you do is you're just highlighting things, and over here you're changing them to certain headings. They work in a very formatted order, so heading 1 will always be at the top, heading 2 will be inside heading 1. It sounds complicated to use it, but the idea is now I can click at any spot in here and it'll take me automatically to that document. So what I'll do here is you can see it's all written there. I'm going to highlight it. All the stuff that's in there, we're going to click in here. We're going to go to heading 3, I believe it is. And sometimes this happens. I don't know why. The formatting gets a little weird. That was page 2, page 3, page 4. All right. So, and then over here you can click this, refresh it. I know this isn't really fun, guys, but this is, you know, comics does have this. It is a portion of it. Sometimes this will happen where I have to refresh it. I don't know if it's my internet or what. And again, I don't know why it doesn't, even though I click it on. I always have to go add-ons, table of contents, show in sidebar. Okay, so we'll go back down to page 4. Normally it doesn't take this long. Yeah, it's still doing it. You can see it in here. It's got the numbers on them, but for whatever reason, it's not showing it up in here. That's fine. Okay, so I can always click on any of these panels that I need or want, and that's all fine. So let's go back up to the very first thing that we did here, so we can see what page 5 is supposed to be. It's a splash or 2-panel page of Shredder has Splinter hostage. I already know what I'm going to do with this one. I'm going to do 2 panels here. Again, I'm a little scared to just have a single splash page in a submission. I mean, any kind of art that I do is all pinups and stuff, so it's easy to see if I can do that sort of thing. So panel 1, we're going to have this really kick-ass picture of Shredder holding Splinter hostage. Turtles looking at them on page question mark. I'm not sure how I'm going to structure that just yet. And I think what it will really be cool here is panel 2. We've seen enough of the turtles. Let's get in close here. Close up on Splinter looking sad. Possibly Shredder's, I don't even know what to call, Wolverine claws at his throat. And that'll be how it ends. That way, you don't know how it's going to go, blah, 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 blah. And we could always get back and leave it a little cliffhanger there. All right, so last thing we'll do here is I'm just going to read it out loud. We're going to do a little story time one more time, just to make sure it sounds good. And then I guess we'll get right into, what time is it, 8:30? So what I can do is, like usual, guys, I do want to open this up for what's the word? Oh, I'm all over the place today, guys. I apologize. Critiques. So get your critiques ready if you guys got, like usual, the last 15 minutes or so. I'll ask you, and you guys can throw them out in the chat with a link. We'll bring them in, and we'll do a little look over and see how it goes. Until that, I'm going to show. I don't think we're going to be doing too much thumbnailing of this, but I want to show you how I'm going to start these layouts with like a floor plan, which I think is actually very important in all of the things that you're doing. And if, in case you can't, I mean, it's very important to have a floor plan, and I don't think a lot of people do. And what it does is it paints you into a corner of being stuck at what's going on and where things are located in a room. And the sad part is it takes less time than it does to do a thumbnail. And I honestly believe more people should do it because it clears up your actual pacing problems. Digicom is saying, I know this is very specific targeting, but are you concerned about not having, in quotes here, real people in there? I am, which I might be able to fix that with Shredder. I know it's not as well as I'd like it, but the foot soldiers as well. Maybe there's a way I can. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. No, you are bringing up a very valid point. Being able to draw animals, I think, is a big thing for Ninja Turtles, so it is very specific. But what I hope to do is, in the meantime, have people drawings everywhere else. And I am with you. Normally, like in the original one, like actually, what we might do? Like here, a shot of New York is how we're gonna start. Probably have people in there. Zoom into the sewers. Probably have people there before we get right into it, right? So we got to find ways to introduce that. So what you're bringing up, Digi, is it's great. It makes a lot of sense, and it is very important in there. So I'm going to read it one more time just to make sure how it sounds out loud. Then we'll do the floor plan, and then we'll get into some critiques. So page 1, panel 1, a shot of New York. Panel 2, zoom into the sewers. Panel 3, shadows dancing on the walls of the sewers. The lights from inside their hideout causes this. The turtle's hideout. Panel 4, shot through a peephole or a crack in the door. The turtles are seen doing what each would do. Splinter's meditating. So turtles will be like, Donnie will be playing with a machine. Raph will probably be lifting weights or something, or off in the corner doing nothing, and stuff like that. Panel 5, Splinter's meditation is broken. Something startles him. Page 2, panel 1, door breaks down and a handful of foot soldiers break in. Panel 2, Splinter and Leonardo look stunned. Foot soldiers jump in for attack. Actually, you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to do this. I'm going to put Mikey. I don't think Leo should always be on point. Mikey seems like the either him or Donnie. Splinter and Mikey look stunned. Panel 3, foot soldiers jump in for attack. Panel 4, Raph intercepts two of them midair, muscle style. So kind of like a clothesline or something like that. I'm really getting to the muscles with this guy, like suplexes and wrestling and stuff. Page 3, panel 1, Leo points the foot soldiers while Donnie and Mikey get into battle positions. Panel 2, Leo, Don, and Mike yelling face as they run into battle. Raphael's already in battle there, so we're not really going to need it. Panel 3, the turtles in their glory, smashing the foot like they deserve. Splinter can be seen in the background battling a single foot soldier. And there's a shadow that looms outside in the sewers behind Splinter. Page 4, panel 1, Donatello springboards off of Raph's shell, who is also sweep kicking a foot soldier. And Donatello, while midair there, springboarding off to drop kick another foot soldier in the chest. Panel 2, Leo slashes one foot soldier's weapons away while kneeing another in the face. Panel 3, Mikey finishes off the disarmed foot soldier by Leo. Panel 4, Raph suplexes one foot soldier into another. Panel 5, Leo, Mike, Don surround Raph, who is getting up, all smiling, sweating, piles of foot soldiers around them. Panel 6, the turtles look shocked at something off screen. Last page, panel 1, a kick-ass picture of Shredder holding Splinter hostage, turtles looking on at him possibly. And panel 2, a close-up of Splinter looking sad, possibly Shredder's Wolverine claws at his throat. Okay, so that'll be it. I think, it's got enough action in there. It's got enough things to make us do what we got to do and live in color here. So let's get this off here and let's get some drawing pictures, some picture doodles. Okay, so let me just close this out. This was for the pre-show. So I'll actually just do this here. I'm going to minimize all this stuff here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Now, what I will do, most likely, is I'm going to look online for reference of what the Turtles... It's got to be somewhere online, the Turtles base, what it looks like. Okay? I'm just going to put a little scribble here. Does that show up for you guys? Just see on screen. It just seems okay. All right, so what I'll do is on page 1, we don't really see anything, but what I want to do, this is the floor plan I'm talking about. Everything's taking place in the sewers, very minimally, the sewers, as well as the turtle's lair itself, okay? So I'm going to do, and I do this for basically any project that I do now. I've done it for the standard. I did it for the hero code. This was a technique talked about by DC artist. What was his name? I forget his name. But he was one of the first guys when I was on dial-up internet that had like how to make comics tutorials like DC sort of way. And I remembered a lot of what he said. This helps so much. Okay, so this would be like where they're at. Imagine just a bird's eye view of you drawing it here or whatever, right? And out here would be the sewer. I'm just gonna label it sewer. You know, maybe we can just do something like this. That'd be the water. You're not going to go too detailed like I'm doing, really. So what this is letting you do, if you guys can see it already, is once I start placing my camera around when I'm getting to the thumbnails, I know what needs to be around, like where doors are and things like this, right? Like if maybe I have, like there's a separate entrance that goes this way. So if the camera is ever shot this way, like looking out into the sewer, you might see that. So if the fight continues out this way, you need to remember that those things are there, okay? So just be very careful and just remember what you're doing here, because this stuff can actually lead into some really interesting story decisions as well. I'm very familiar with the turtles from the TV show back in the 90s, so I like this little circle door here. We're just going to go like that, make a little grate. So we go in here, and I know that the camera is going to start here as people are looking in, which are the foot soldiers, right? So they need to see stuff. And now if you remember, I said I needed Splinter to be near the door somewhere. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm just going to put a little carpet. And you can do a little legend if you want as well. Should actually change this to color. And what we'll do, we'll put brown. I'll just go over here. That's Splinter. Let's go do some purple. That's the foot. Lots of them. Okay. So hopefully you guys can kind of see. Oh, sorry, you guys are asking. No, damn it. He was doing Nightwing. Can I remember his name? Damn it. Light table. Let's see if I can. I'm pretty sure his website's still up too. Oh my gosh. How to make comics. Light table. I remember, like my dad, this guy, he had, this is again, remember, digital really wasn't around, so this guy had a way of showing how to create a light table. You can make one out of wood, and my dad made one, and that's how you used to do it back in the days. You make small thumbnails, you scan them in a photocopier, or if you're fortunate enough to have a computer, in a Photoshop, blow it up huge, print it out, and lightbox it. Very similar to what we do digitally now. Oh my gosh. Maybe you guys can. Scott McDaniel, thank you. Yes. Ding, 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 ding. Okina. If you're a man, my man. If you're a lady, my lady. Scott McDaniel. Check out his stuff. It's for those on YouTube. Scott, just like that's normally Scott, and then McDaniel. McDaniel. Check it out. He's got a lot of clues. They're a little dated, some of his workflow, but it still is practical. But this, again, was a massive, massive thing. So we'll have that. Let's go ahead. Let's keep going. So I know we need Splinter. He's going to be kind of over there. That's fine. Again, I'm kind of using the TV show. So there's going to be a TV here. I think there's like a couch. Couch. And they had like little circle things here, I believe, and these were their bedrooms. Bed one. And it's like just pure pillows or something in here. Digicom is saying Joe Kubert also teaches this in his book and course. Oh, does he? What course are you talking about? I'm always interested in finding this stuff out. So we'll have all this stuff here. Maybe on this side we can put weights. Like a bench set or something there. I'm just trying to think. So Mikey's going to be here. So let's get him going. Oops. Mike. Raf. And I'm hoping what you guys are seeing already is how powerful this is. What's at his actual school? Okay. Yeah. I was wondering if there was something maybe online that had that stuff. So who are we missing here? We're missing 2 other turtles. Leo would be doing something. And Donnie, let's put some tech stuff over here. Tech. And maybe over here is their kitchen area. Kitchen. Lamp. These little things are lamps. So I know where my light source is kind of coming from. You don't got to go too crazy with this stuff. You might not even need the lamps and stuff like that. Correspondence course as well, eh? It's interesting. All right, so we've got a meditation here that kind of feels weird and out of place, but that's fine. You know what? Leo would probably be meditating as well. Leo, I always find, is basically like Splinter in a lot of ways. So let's go blue. Leo, he's meditating as well. And the last person we need is Donnie. Put him here. Okay, so this would be our floor plan. It's literally that. This is where all the action, and the reason why you do something like this is, especially if you have action over multiple pages, it's easy to lose yourself. And let's be fair, a lot of the time you're not going to draw backgrounds anyway if there's so much action going on. However, now I know where things fit. I don't have to worry about, like maybe missing something, because like an editor, in my opinion, it's the editor's job to make sure the story is flowing well. And you might hear certain things like always have a certain location, like a thing that you'll see multiple times, like a lamp. Make sure the lamp is in every panel where it needs to be, so that it places the reader in the scene, so they don't get confused, like where am I now, or how come all of a sudden this wall flipped? Is that a different place? By doing this, it's very safe for you, and it can get you out of a lot of sticky situations. Okay, so I have all that. Let's erase that. What are we missing here? The last thing that I would normally do is sort of like, this is optional, to be honest, is getting something going where like your camera is, like page 1 camera. But this I find, this is the old school way of doing it, where you just start putting down like, like, okay, well, this is where my camera direction is. But I don't like doing that anymore, because it ties up your dynamics. I don't like to get rid of that. But anyway, I'm going to keep going from here. But by all means, now, guys, we got the last 15 minutes of the show. So if you guys had anything you'd like critiqued, now's the time. Jam it in the chat. We'll pull 1 or 2 up, and we'll go through them. And like I say, don't be shy showing anything you got at whatever level you're at. It's only to get better. And if I can help you do that, awesome. If not, ask it for the people that aren't here, okay? The people that can't make it but are watching on YouTube. You'd be surprised how many people are asking the same questions you guys are asking. So be the brave ones. Be the ones that throw your stuff. Lars is saying, I haven't heard any mice tonight. Are you using your Wacom? No, I'm using, let me see. No, you can still hear it. I'm just not close as I normally would be. Here. That's Splinter. That's Splinter running around. And really quickly, I'm using the Huion GT220. A lot of you ask as well. I love it. In Photoshop, for whatever reason, I get jitters when I'm moving this, but lately, all the art and stuff, I have to stick to Manga Studio because of that. I'm getting used to Manga Studio more and more. Phenomenal device. I actually can't recommend it enough. Okay. So again, jam in with any critiques you guys got. Justin's got his. We're going to pull his up here. Let me just save this here. Save as. Taking forever. All right. Art, comics. We got a bunch of stuff in here. This would be personal. Actually, you know what? No, that's a lie. This is business. This is business. This is business. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna make a new one because we're gonna be doing a lot of this in the channel. So we're doing pitches on here. Pitches on this. Pitch. Pitches. Click in there. Gonna make a new one. TMNT. Not gonna write it all. New one. Jeez, pitch. 1. 2015. Don't know how many we'll do in this year. MISC. I know it seems like a lot of folders once you get in. I'm just used to working like this. Floor plan. And this is something from work. Always putting version numbers, version 1. You never know when you're going to get all this stuff fixed around. Dejenki, can you show us how to draw muscular arm and chest and how they interact with each other as the arm moves? Lars is asking, has Worlds in Peril already been printed? Sure has. It's being shipped out as we speak. I was told that I'll be getting mine very soon, which sometimes you get comp issues and comp things for free when you do the work. Sometimes you don't. I wasn't expecting to, not like a slight against the team or anything. It's just, it was a big book and it's a Kickstarter sort of thing, but apparently it's been mailed out. So I'm going to do a video review of that when it gets in so you guys can check it out. I will try to inquire on some information on if you guys are interested. Worlds in Peril is basically if you think, the easiest way I can say it is Dungeons and Dragons, but with superheroes. And I was fortunate enough to be able to do all the interior artwork for that. So, again, I'll show you guys that. I'm excited to see how it came out. I'm getting a lot of buzz, a lot of people saying they dug it. They dug it. So I'm going to quickly jam through this. We got 10 minutes here. So we're going to do Justin's here first, and then we're going to show how to draw muscular arm and chest and how they interact with each other as the arm moves. See if we can do that real quick. All right, so let's copy this from Justin here. Now I'm just gonna, I know the resolution's a little bit bigger, so I'm just gonna, I know it might screw with some of the image here. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, Justin's been sending a lot of stuff lately. Some of you guys, this might be your first time seeing his work and stuff, but I'm noticing improvements, Justin, so keep doing what you're doing, bud. I did notice that it was a football player that you put in the description as well. So one thing I would encourage you to do is start. Let me just get my tools ready. Let me get my tools. Start trying to worry about like interior line art. Your contours, which are the outside shape, like the outline, might be an easier way of saying it. You've got them done. That's great. But the interior is going to help you add that volume that you're going to need to make them look a little less flat. You are adding a little bit of shading and stuff in here, which helps make it pop, which is great. But especially since this is a football player, you get a lot of things to do. Maybe adding like a number or something on his chest would help that. You know, like if we just put, this is a really weird 8. What the hell is that? let's do this right. Just put a simple 8. Let's not go fancy with it. Right? Get some line weight on there. But this is the interior line art that I'm talking about, where you can have like the chest, you know, coming in. And you can show like just like where the fabric sort of hitting it, you know, like the pushes and the pulls of the shoulder pads that are in there, because there's a lot of tech that's kind of going on there. I forget the last time it was that I wore one of these. I believe there's straps that go up here. Maybe have some straps here. I think there's straps here as well. I could be wrong. But just stuff like that. And again, even with the feet, there's you guys can't really see it, but there's knee pads, right? And don't be shy with shoes. Shoes or feet, you know, like they're very complicated to draw. So just keep working on that. Again, keep doing what you're doing, bud, because I'm seeing big improvement. But try pushing yourself a little harder for the next ones where you're adding these lines. Try to think of the lines that are underneath of what you're adding and how they would react to other things on them. Okay, so again, in this case, that shirt is very like actually pull up a football player in Google images and see what they're showing and try to draw that in this case, right? And you can see how the fabric's being pulled. So maybe that's the better way of saying it. Start doing some Google image searches to see people in like a life drawing sort of way and see what you can bring from that to your art. Okay? So the last thing we're going to do today, thanks again, Justin. The last thing we're going to do today is talking about the arm and the chest and how it works. Now I've only got about 6 minutes for this. So let's see if we can jam through this. What we're going to do here is I'll just draw just pretty quick here. So we're going to have a flat-on shot of the arm. And I'm just going to do the one peck on one side here, okay? Hopefully you guys don't get upset about that. And I think if I just draw it straight on, it'll save us a little bit of time. And here we're going to have it raising. I'm a big believer in this, the cones. Or cones, Jesus, what am I talking about? Cylinder shapes. For anatomy. Okay. Now, one thing you might have noticed that I added here was this line up. These are the collarbone. The collarbone lifts, okay? If you hold your collarbone, it might not feel like it, but it lifts. Trust me here. It lifts so that your shoulder can wrap backwards to help lift it up here, okay? And you can see what I'm doing with the pec is I'm adding it in the same spot on all of them. And I'm going to show you how that muscle actually attaches on them. And I'm not going to show you 100% because I'm not the anatomy guy. I'm just going to show you the tricks that I'm sort of going through that kind of like let me bullshit my way through this sort of stuff, okay? The last one we'll do down here is maybe it'll come across. I'm getting a little bit of lag here. You can hear some splinter action going on. And let me actually just draw the shoulder too, because that's going to screw us up if I don't have that on there. Alright, let's turn these suckers to blue. And we're going to go ahead and grab our sexy inking tool. Okay. So, with your default arm, usually I go like this. I'll always start with the collarbone area. This would be like one side of it, okay? Now, this would be the other collarbone on this side, right? There's like a gap in the middle. Some guy, like, very rarely do muscles like flatten up against each other. It looks fine, but I'm gonna try to go with like the actual, like, you know, the guy's pretty ripped kind of thing, right? So your muscles actually connect this way. There's bone, your rib cage underneath. So all the muscles are gonna like hit that spot right there, okay? And they all kind of curve up like this, all into the armpit action. And your pec actually, if I remember right, connects inside your arm, which probably seems really weird. But this is what gives you that gap in between here to get your shoulder. And really quickly, there's 3 heads to a shoulder. I don't know the name, but this would be the front, or no, sorry, the side, the front, which is near your chest, which would be, if you're talking to somebody, this is the part that's at them. This is the one that's on your side, literally on the side, and this is behind. There's 3 heads to that shoulder, okay? So this goes here. My shoulder. This thing is going to be a little longer than it should be. Just hear me out. So the bicep connects to the forearm. The tricep connects. There's 2 heads to the tricep, and those connect on either side of the elbow. And then your forearms kind of wrap around them like this. You can do the teardrop shape. A lot of people do this kind of action, okay? And that'd be like your default arm. And yes, I know this is way too stretched out, but I'm trying to jam through this. So I'm not going to go into foreshortening anatomy, like how I go about it. You're just going to have to watch it. I just want to show you how the muscles react here. Okay, so the shoulder is going to come here. Now what happens when you start lifting your arm is the pec actually stays pretty close to the same. Doesn't get too dramatic, but when you start lifting your arm, all of this business here gets lifted way up. I'm going to draw this side of the pec so you can see like a relaxed one. And this lifted one, it almost cuts like way up like this. Grab bodybuilding muscle magazines, guys. Bodybuilding muscle magazines? That sounded very weird. Bodybuilding magazines. God. flip through one. You can see some dudes doing like some bench presses and stuff, or shoulder raises and stuff like that. You'll see how this goes up there, and nipples and stuff, they'll stretch on top of there like that. It might feel weird, but then things start wrapping around. You know, your shoulder's going to come around here. You got that armpit action happening, your bicep. Yeah, we're almost done, Zelda. Cats want some pets. Goes up there, and your ribs are going to, you know, do the rib thing. Yep. She's heard this a bunch of times. That's why she's upset. And you're going to get your big old fat lat muscles on the side. They're kind of coming out. Okay. Now we're going to do this one here. I'm going to start with the elbow. Again, remember, there's two heads to the triceps. Go into like your shoulder blade action. Bicep's going to get popped up there. Now, you can't really see it, but I wanted to show you this. So I really pop the pec up this way, and you're not even going to see the bottom of it. It starts to flex. Like, even if you guys have man boobs, or if you're ripped, you can just hold, like, grab your fingers and just drive them. Don't hurt yourself, but drive them in enough into your pec, like in the middle part, right? Like the meat, right? Just drive your fingers in there a little bit so it's solid, and just hold your arm and move it directly in front of you. Nothing happens. But if you flex the shit out of that pec, even if you're a female, you got pecs, squeeze it. You can feel it, like where you're moving your arm, like when it starts to puff, when it starts to get stretched, when it gets lifted, that sort of stuff. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't care what your body looks like, if it's hidden under a lot of fat, if it's, again, ripped, or if you're just, you know, you're a skinny cat. Take your shirt off in front of the mirror and just look at your body in an objective way for learning purposes, and start moving your arms and flexing and trying to, and feel your body. I know this is going to sound really weird. I've told friends about this, and they actually stop listening to me about this, and I don't care if you think I'm weird for doing it or whatever, but like, there's times when it's just like, okay, I got to kill some time. I'm just waiting around, you know, like maybe you got an appointment, you're waiting for whatever, and just like start flexing your arm and try to, you know, like massage your wrist or something, you know, like just to ease it. But when you're just kind of like touching your arm and stuff like that, like I'm doing it right now, feel where your bicep is, as big or small as it is, and just like if you drive your finger, like your forefinger, right in the under your bicep there in your elbow area, it feels like there's like a little like band or like a little wire, like a cable or something, right? And just sort of like press on it and feel where it's going. Feel where things pop. Feel where cuts in your triceps go, and how your shoulder reacts and stuff. Like, you're your best model. You have access to what you have, and you can learn from yourself, as well as seeking out other things. But anyway, I hope this helped you guys. Really appreciate it. I had a great time today, you guys. And again, I know it was a little slow in the beginning with the script stuff, but hopefully that helps you. You guys let me know next week, or if you're following me on Facebook or Twitter, if you're able to get that link to work to that site, or if you rewatch this video here, let me know how the writing thing works for you. I'm interested in that. But anyway, like usual, you guys, you can check out my website and my work at jonathanrector.com. And if you came a little bit late to the show, that's okay. You can mark it in your calendar if you like. It's every Wednesday, 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So look at your clock right now, subtract an hour from it, and next Wednesday, that's when the show will start. We usually do a little bit of like a half-hour pre-show. I just do some scribbling and stuff like that, like the Michelangelo we did in the beginning there, and play some music, have a little bit of fun, and all that good stuff. And if you guys wanted to head on over to Patreon, by all means, I would appreciate that. Patreon.com/JonathanRector. I don't want to talk too much about Castle Dracula, but I will be putting updates on there first, since you know, people there, they deserve it for them being able to help me out. I want to help them out in a little extra special way. So I'm going to start giving a little bit of updates on that, even if it's just progress on how the project's going and things like that. So, you guys, like usual, I wish you all the best, and I hope you guys are kicking ass in your projects. If you're comics, whatever you're struggling at, keep pushing through it, and keep trying to hit as many walls as you can. Don't get demotivated, but get angry at those walls and why you can't do something you wish you could do art-wise, and figure out how to get there. Give it time. Keep trying to learn, and it'll all come. Okay, guys? And I really do appreciate your time. So, I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Keep reading comics. Keep making comics, and I'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.